Baba Yaga came into her room, and she stretched out on a bench. "Come, black-browed maid, give us something to eat," she cried, and the black-browed maid ran in and began to feed Baba Yaga. She brought her a pot of borscht and half a cow, 10 jugs of milk and a roasted sow, 20 chickens and 40 geese, 2 whole pies and an extra piece, cider and mead and home-brewed ale, beer by the barrel, and kvass by the pail. Baba Yaga ate and drank up everything, but she only gave Vasilisa a chunk of bread. "And now, Vasilisa," said she, "take this sack of millet and pick it over seed by seed, and mind that you take out all of the black bits, for if you don't, I shall eat you up." And Baba Yaga closed her eyes and began to snore. Vasilisa took the piece of bread and put it before her little doll and said, "Come, little doll, eat this bread, my dear, and I'll pour out all my troubles in your ear, Baba Yaga has given me a hard task to do, and she threatens to eat me up if I do not do it," said the doll in reply. "Do not grieve, do not weep, but close your eyes and go to sleep, for morning is wiser than evening." And the moment Vasilisa was asleep, the doll called out in a loud voice, "Tomtits, pigeons, sparrows, hear me! There is work to do, I fear me. On your help, my feathered friends, Vasilisa's life depends. Come in, answer my call, you are needed, one and all." And the birds came flying from all sides, flocks and flocks of them, more than the eye could see or the tongue could tell. They began to chirp and to coo, to set up a great to-do, and to pick over the millet seed by seed very quickly indeed. Into the sack the good seeds went, and the black went into the crop, and before they knew it, the night was spent, and the sack was filled to the top. They had only just finished when the white horseman galloped past the gate on his white horse. Day was dawning. Baba Yaga woke up and asked, "Have you done what I told you to do, Vasilisa?" "Yes, it's all done, Grandma." Baba Yaga was very angry, and there was nothing more to be said. "Humph," she snorted, "I'm off to hunt, and you take that sack yonder. It's filled with peas and poppy seeds. Pick out the peas from the seeds and put them in 2 separate heaps. And mind now, if you do not do it, I will eat you up." Baba Yaga went out into the yard and whistled, and the mortar and pestle swept up to her. The red horseman galloped past and the sun rose. Baba Yaga got into the mortar and rode out of the yard, swinging her pestle like a whip and whisking the tracks away with a broom. Vasilisa took a crust of bread, fed her doll, and said, "Do take pity on me, little doll, my dear, and help me out." And the doll called out in ringing tones, "Come to me, mice of the house, the barn, and the field, for there is work to be done." And the mice came running, swarms and swarms of them, more than the eye could see or the tongue could tell, and before the hour was up, the work was all done. It was getting towards evening, and the black-browed maid set the table and began to wait for Baba Yaga's return. The black horseman galloped past the gate. Night fell, and the eyes of the skulls crowning the fence began to glow. And now the trees groaned and crackled, the leaves rustled, and Baba Yaga, the cunning witch and sly, who gobbled people up in a wink of an eye, came riding home. "Have you done what I told you to do, Vasilisa?" she asked. "Yes, it's all done, Grandma." Baba Yaga was very angry, but what could she say? "Well then, go to bed. I am turning myself in a minute." Vasilisa went behind the stove, and she heard Baba Yaga say, "Light the stove, black-browed maid, and make the fire hot. When I wake up, I shall roast Vasilisa." And Baba Yaga lay down on a bench, placed her chin on a shelf, covered herself with her foot, and began to snore so loudly that the whole forest trembled and shook. Vasilisa burst into tears, and taking out her doll, put a crust of bread before it. "Come, little doll, have some bread, my dear, and I'll pour out all my troubles in your ear, for Baba Yaga wants to roast me and to eat me up," said she. And the doll told her what she must do to get out of trouble without more ado. Vasilisa rushed to the black-browed maid and bowed low to her. "Please, black-browed maid, help me," she cried. "When you are lighting the stove, pour water over the wood so it does not burn the way it should. Here is my silken kerchief for you to reward you for your trouble." Said the black-browed maid in reply, "Very well, my dear, I shall help you. I shall take a long time heating the stove, and I shall tickle Baba Yaga's heels and scratch them too, so that she may sleep very soundly the whole night through. And you run away, Vasilisa." "But won't the 3 horsemen catch me and bring me back?" "Oh no," replied the black-browed maid. "The white horseman is the bright day, the red horseman is the golden sun, and the black horseman is the black night, and they will not touch you." Vasilisa ran out into the passage, and the grumbler the cat rushed to her and was about to scratch her, but she threw him a pie, and he did not touch her. Vasilisa ran down from the porch, and the dog darted out and was about to bite her, but she threw him a piece of bread, and the dog let her go. Vasilisa started running out of the yard, and the birch tree tried to lash her and to put out her eyes, but she tied it with a ribbon, and the birch tree let her pass. The gate was about to shut before her, but Vasilisa greased its hinges, and it swung open. Vasilisa ran into the dark forest, and just then the black horseman galloped by, and it became pitch black all around. How was she to go back home without a light? What would she say? Why, her stepmother would do her death. So she asked her little doll to help her, and did what the doll told her to do. She took one of the skulls from the fence, and, mounting it onto a stick, set off across the forest. Its eyes glowed, and by their light the dark night was bright as day. As for Baba Yaga, she woke up and stretched, and seeing that Vasilisa was gone, rushed out into the passage. "Did you scratch Vasilisa as she ran past, Grumbler Rumbler?" she demanded, and the cat replied, "No, I let her pass, for she gave me a pie. I served you for 10 years, Baba Yaga, but you never gave me so much as a crust of bread." Baba Yaga rushed out into the yard. "Did you bite Vasilisa, my faithful dog?" she demanded. Said the dog in reply, "No, I let her pass, for she gave me some bread. I served you ever so many years, but you never gave me so much as a bone." Birch tree, Baba Yaga roared. "Did you put out Vasilisa's eyes for her?" Said the birch tree in reply, "No, I let her pass, for she bound my branches with a ribbon. I've been growing here for 10 years, and you never even tied them with a string." Baba Yaga ran into the gate. "Gate, gate," she cried, "did you shut before her that Vasilisa might not pass?" Said the gate in reply, "No, I let her pass, for she greased my hinges. I served you for ever so long, but you never even put water on them." Baba Yaga flew into a temper. She began to beat the dog and thrash the cat, to break down the gate and to chop down the birch tree, and she was so tired by then that she forgot all about Vasilisa. Vasilisa ran home, and she saw that there was no light on in her house. Her stepsisters rushed out and began to chide and scold her. "What took you so long fetching the light?" they demanded. "We cannot seem to keep one on in the house at all. We have tried to strike a light again and again, but to no avail. And one we got from the neighbours went out the moment it was brought in. Perhaps yours will keep burning." They brought the skull into the hut, and its eyes fixed themselves on the stepmother and her 2 daughters and burnt them like fire. The stepmother and her daughters tried to hide, but run where they should. The eyes followed them and never let them out of their sight. By morning they were burnt to a cinder. All 3 and only Vasilisa remained unharmed. She buried the skull outside the hut, and a bush of red roses grew up on the spot. After that, not liking to stay in the hut any longer, Vasilisa went into town and made her home in the house of an old woman. One day she said to the old woman, "I'm bored sitting around doing nothing, Grandma. Buy me some flax, the best you can find." The old woman bought her some flax, and Vasilisa set to spinning yarn. She worked quickly and well, the spinning wheel humming and the golden thread coming out as even and thin as hair. She began to weave cloth. It turned out so fine that it could be passed through the eye of a needle, like thread. She bleached the cloth and it came out whiter than snow. "Here, Grandma," said she, "go and sell the cloth and take the money for yourself." The old woman looked at the cloth and gasped. "No, my child, such cloth is only fit for a Tsarevich to wear. I had better take it to the palace." She took the cloth to the palace, and when the Tsarevich saw it, he was filled with wonder. "How much do you want for it?" he asked. "This cloth is too fine to be sold. I have bought it to you for a present." The Tsarevich thanked the old woman, showered her with gifts, and sent her home. But he could not find anyone to make him a shirt out of the cloth, for the workmanship had to be as fine as the fabric. So he sent for the old woman again and said, "You wove this fine cloth, so you must know how to make a shirt out of it." "It was not I that spun the yarn or wove the cloth, Tsarevich, but a maid named Vasilisa." "Well then, let her make me a shirt." The old woman went home, and she told Vasilisa all about it. Vasilisa made 2 shirts, embroidered them with silken threads, and studded them with large round pearls, and, giving them to the old woman to take to the palace, sat down at the window with a piece of embroidery. By and by, whom should she see but one of the Tsar's servants come running towards her. "The Tsarevich bids you to come to the palace," said the servant. Vasilisa went to the palace, and, seeing her, the Tsarevich was smitten with her beauty. "I cannot bear to let you go away again. You shall be my wife," said he. He took both her milk-white hands in his and placed her in the seat beside his own. And so Vasilisa and the Tsarevich were married, and when Vasilisa's father soon returned, he made his home in the palace with them. Vasilisa took the old woman to live with her too, and as for her little doll, she always carried it about with her in her pocket. And thus they are living to this very day, waiting for us to come for a stay.